Good night. Welcome once again, friends. Tonight's topic will be the 24 elders. The 24 elders. Who are these 25 elders? Let's read Ezekiel 8, verse 16. And I'll be reading from some notes that I composed together from my little mini computer here. Okay, let me read the verse. Ezekiel 8, verse 16. And I read from my King James Version Bible. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs towards the temple of the Lord, and their faces towards the east, and they worshipped the sun, sun, toward the east. Okay. Well, according to the verse, the 25 elders are God's professed people because they were between the door and the temple of the Lord's house. They also have backslid, went into apostasy because they turned their backs to the temple of the Lord, with their face turned towards the opposite direction, the east, away from God. And they are found worshipping the sun, sun, towards the east. And this was literal Israel. So application for us today, these 25 elders, which are leadership, are they represent leader, just like the Sanhedrin. These 25 elders today, and I'm going to prove it as we go along, represents the General Conference, the leaders of the General Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists, because the Seventh-day Adventists right now is God's covenant people. But God will be taking a covenant out of a covenant, because also the leadership has gone astray and are leading his people astray. So God is going to take the reign, take control, and he's going to take his remnant out of the remnant. Okay, so I continue reading. But can we also find 25 elders that are faithful in the Bible? Yes, we can. Example, the 12 prophets of the Old Testament and the 12 disciples of the New Testament after Judas was replaced. And of course, Christ, who was the chief, give us a total of 25 leaders, elders. Okay, so who today these 25 elders that are in apostasy represents? And I explained it already. And please note that the elders are leaders. I explained it already. So who are these 25 elders which the Bible are speaking of in our generation, the end time generation? And this verse is in reference to the end times, of course, when these leaders will go into apostasy with their backs turned towards the Lord, their faces worshipping the sun, receiving the mark of the beast, worshipping on Sunday, because that is the mark of the beast. During the Sunday law crisis, these men are faithful, or were the faithful Seventh-day Adventist leaders. But then they received the mark of the beast, because by joining with the world in observing the papal Sabbath, which is Sunday, these men will receive the mark of the beast. And as I explained before, they are the leaders of the General Conference, the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Okay, so these elders / leaders will lead the majority of the laymen and women to also receive the mark of the beast, those who are not studying for themselves and are just being led, anything these leaders say, just being led by these leaders, they'll eventually receive the mark of the beast, which is worshiping on Sunday, which is the same as sun worship, sun slash day or sun dash day worship, paganism. But God will have a remnant, as I said, separated from the remnant, even the 144,000. Okay, the spirit of prophecy identifies these 25 elders as those who makes the decision slash leadership role of the General Conference. And let me read the General Conference Bulletin from Sister White, General Conference Bulletin Volume 4, the General Conference Constitution, for all those who have this, who know the spirit of prophecy, are aware SDA, Seventh Adventist doctrine, that we know that we have our church, we are the remnant church, and the final remnant church has to have a spirit of prophecy, has to have a last day prophet, just like the olden days, where God speak through, communicate through this prophet to write, to just like olden days, to write unto us, to communicate unto us. Okay, I read her writing. Section 1. The executive committee of this conference shall be 25 in number, and shall have power to organize itself by choosing a chairman, secretary, treasurer, and auditor, whose duties shall be as such pertain to their respective offices. It shall also have the power to appoint all necessary agents and committees for the conduct of its work. 25 men in charge. This is the spirit of prophecy I quoted from. Okay, another proof. A letter from the office of the President of the General Conference in the year 1990. And I read, here at the General Conference, the highest decision-making committee, of course, is the General Conference Committee. There is a committee that we term General Conference officers, which is made up of about 25 or 26 men, individuals, presidents, secretaries, and treasurers, with a few other invited individuals. This committee is a screening committee that determines the items that need to go out or need to go to the General Conference Committee. And this is a letter from the office of the President of the General Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists, B.E. Jacobs, Administrative Assistant to the President, dated November 1st, 1990. So we see that the 25, and this is in direct reference to spiritual Israel, which is Seventh-day Adventists. These 25 elders, no coincidences in God's words, no coincidence at all. Okay, friends, I pray someone receive the light on this topic for tonight. But if you're still in doubt, take it to the Lord in prayer. Don't forget to like and share the video with a friend. You may also leave a comment at the bottom. Okay, for now,